Hello, this video is a how-to for how to clean your kitchen floor. We will cover the tools that you'll need and a basic method to sweep and mop the floor. First, let's talk about your tools. You will need a broom and a dustpan and lastly a mop. We will be using a Swiffer which with the wet mop pads because it is easy to set up and to clean up. First thing you want to do is look for any large items on the floor of your kitchen. If you have things in your kitchen, like a trash can, or soda bottles, or any recycling containers, you want to remove those from the room first so that you have a clear space to be able to clean. In my kitchen, there's nothing on the floor, so I do not need to remove anything prior to beginning to sweep. Now it's time to begin sweeping the floor. You can do this by choosing one side of the room that you're going to consider the top of the room. Begin there and to sweep across the room as if you were looking at a picture from top to bottom or reading a book. Once you've reached the bottom of the floor, take your dustpan and sweeper and collect all the dirt that you've swept into a pile at the bottom of your floor. Now it is the time to mop. With a Swiffer, you get out a wet mop pad and then you attach it to the Swiffer. I'm putting the wet mop pad onto the flat part of the Swiffer with the flaps hanging over the edge. Once I have placed the pad onto the flat part of the Swiffer, I will then take the flap, which is hanging over the edge, and bring it up and place it on top of the Swiffer. I then am able to press the flap into these 4 little buttons that grip the flaps to hold the pad onto the Swiffer. The method for mopping is very similar to sweeping, except that you want to make sure that the top of the room is what is furthest from the exit, so that you can mop from the top down all the way to the bottom and be able to exit the room. You want to mop from the top of your room all the way to the bottom where the exit is, so that you can exit the room and not have to walk over the area that you have just mopped. Once you have finished mopping the room, make sure to give it a couple minutes before you go back in so that the floor can dry and you don't leave footprints over the floor that you've just mopped. With a Swiffer wet mop, you can remove the pad that you put on the Swiffer and go ahead and throw it away for cleanup. And then the last thing to do is to bring back into the kitchen the things that you had to remove to make the floor available to clean. So those would be any large items such as trash cans, recycling bins, or drinks, or other things that you keep on the floor of your kitchen. This has been a video on how to clean your kitchen floor. Thank you for watching.